Howdy there neighbors, Ian with Etrailer here. Today we're going to be looking at our TorkLift SuperHitch on our 2012 Ford F350. Let's get right into it. So the SuperHitch here is going to be a one-of-a-kind. It is going to be our only option for this dual hitch receivers here. The intention of that is to be able to run your extension from TorkLift. That's going to give you good clearance for this camper. That way you can still tow if you've got the camper on. This particular hitch is also going to allow you to use these camper tie downs that you can get on our website as well. Those are TorkLift. SuperHitch here is going to come with a 17,000 pound trailer weight, 1,700 max tongue weight. With distribution, you're going to have 20,000 pounds on the tow and then 2,000 on tongue weight. You'll always want to make sure you double check your vehicle owner's manual. That weight may be different than what the actual hitch is rated for. So our SuperHitch here is also going to be coming with these nice doubled up 2-inch hitch receivers. The intent of that is going to be for the TorkLift SuperTruss system that will extend out past that we mentioned earlier. Great tie down points here, nice and heavy, double reinforced and welded up. And the SuperHitch install here is going to be pretty easy. In my opinion, you're going to be running about an hour. It is heavy, so you want to make sure you've got a second pair of hands to just kind of help keep everything in place while we get that hardware secured. But let's go ahead and get right into that install. To get this going, we're going to go with our driver's side bracket here. We're going to want this lip facing downwards, so that way when we go up into it, all these top holes are going to be where our bolts are going to go through. As far as how we're going to configure those bolts, these 2-inch grade 8 bolts are going to drop down through the top of the frame and through this, but we're going to want to make sure we do 2 washers on top. The frame will be in the middle of that. 2 more flat washers on the bottom, and then that lock washer, and then we'll put our nut on. One thing we want to keep in mind is all this hardware is going to stay loose for the time being. The reason that is we've got a crossbar that's going to go into this section on the bracket to be the main portion of the hitch. But walking through each of these, we're just going to go all the way down. There's 4 on each side for these. You'll find maybe holding up in the middle is going to be your best bet, just kind of jostling around until you can get that nut started. Before we put the crossbar on that's going to go back right below our bumper, we do want to loosen up this spare tire. We're just going to kind of shove that out of the way, so once that's loose, that'll give us access and proper clearance for that cross member here. It's going to take a little pressure to get this big old monster up there, so you may need a buddy that's going to help you. Once we've got these 2 main brackets on, again, we left those loose so that way we've got plenty of play to be able to move this cross member into place. And then our bolts and nut and lock washer bolt feeding through the back first, lock washer, and then nut. And there's going to be 4 on each side. Again, we're going to leave all this loose because we are going to just make sure everything's all aligned and there's no gaps, because you can kind of see there's gap in between those 2 plates at the moment. We're just going to repeat all 4 on this side, do the same on the other side. Before we tighten down this cross member, this particular vehicle is going to be getting these extensions on, so they did come with a little bit longer hardware, and then we just want to make sure those are on there before we torque down. Otherwise we'd have to take these back bolts out and re-torque them. So I'm going to use my friend Joe here for a second pair of hands. He's going to hold the wrench that's going to hold the top of the bolt. It is a 5/16 up there, also 5/16 on the bottom. We're just going to torque that to the specs shown in the instruction manual. And then once we've got everything torqued up underneath, we're going to come to these side bolts. We're just again going to follow that torque spec that's in the instruction manual, and you want to repeat all 4 on the other side as well. And that concludes a look at our TorkLift SuperHitch on our 2012 Ford F350. My name's Ian with Etrailer. Thanks for watching.